Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hard Hitting Wrestling Show. I have a special guest. Zeta Zhang is in the house. How you doing?
Hi. I am doing better. I was sick, but I am feeling better now.
I'm glad that you make it. But before we're going to start the show, I want to play a 30-second video clip of you so the fans will know who is Zeta Zhang.
One, two, three, four. Let's go now.
All right, so there you have it. Zeta
Love
Zhang,
that.
former NXT superstar, mixed martial artist, and currently signed to Major League Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is. How are you?
You're cutting out. Sorry. You were
Uh,
cutting out.
oh, that's fine. How are you
I think you're
today?
cutting out. Oh, there you go. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Uh, hey, please let us. Tell us about yourself.
So, I'm from Virginia, a small town. Went over there, was there for most of my life, and went off to college, very naive, and got in some situations that really scared me where I felt like I needed to defend myself. So I ended up taking martial arts, and through martial arts is how I ended up in WWE. And then now after WWE, I'm still pro wrestling. It's always been a thing I've been interested in, but I just never really knew what pro wrestling was when I was watching it as a kid. I watched it with my grandma because she got me into it. But during the time, even though I was born in Virginia in the U.S., I didn't really know English. My parents, they were too busy working. We didn't have much money, so couldn't afford a tutor or anything or have anyone teach me English because no one else knew English. So I kind of just had to learn on my own, but it took a while before I really got good at it. So during the time when I was watching pro wrestling from age 4 all the way up till I would say like 12 years old, I didn't really know what I was watching. All I knew was that I enjoyed it, and it's something that I wish I could do, but I never had the confidence to do it because I grew up bullied a lot. Most of my life got bullied, so had low self esteem, never really believed that I could do anything. And because of that, it really held me back from being able to chase my dreams. And it wasn't until much later in my life, mostly because of college and doing martial arts, is when I finally found myself. And I finally had the confidence to chase my dreams.
Well, I mean, it's
And
quite a
because of that,
success
I
that you've
ended
done.
up
Oh,
doing MMA. And,
oh,
and you're cutting out really bad.
yeah. And I apologize for that.
You're
Um,
like cutting out.
you got me now. All right,
Yep, I got you.
so you're currently
And
out in Major League Wrestling right now, and due to the coronavirus and stuff like that, it's not active, and we're waiting for the green light to come. Um, do you have any idea or when the show will happen?
when the show will happen,
Yes. Any
you
word?
said,
Yes. Hmm.
yeah, you're like really cutting out. But yes, I right now we are planning for I think October, but really thing everything really depends on the coronavirus. It's really affected a lot of businesses, especially entertainment. So because of that, it's kind of up to the government at the end of the day because safety is of course, number one issue, and that's got to go before everything else.
Of course, of course. Uh, you mentioned stuff that you have gone through in your childhood, and in the state of Connecticut, more girls are pursuing wrestling in high school, and unfortunately, we don't have a girls wrestling program. Uh, what they're doing is jumping onto the boys' side, trying to compete. So with that, and there are females that are doing weightlifting. What message can you give them uh, if they have that interest of being a professional wrestler?
Well, actually, I think it's great that, I mean, it's not great. It sucks they don't have a women's team, but with my upbringing of martial arts, I never had women to go against. But I think in a way that actually is an advantage for us, even though it sucks not having people to wrestle, but it's really a challenge. You really have to know your skills, you really have to focus on technique because you don't have the strength to rely on it because naturally men, they're gonna be better than women for the most part. So because of that, you have to learn what you're good at, which is going to be technique most of the time. So I think it's a good thing because the day that they have to go up against girls, it's going to be cake because that's what happened for me with jujitsu. You know, going up against guys, yeah, I'm getting my butt kicked in training all the time, and I'm going home crying every day because I'm stressed out and think I suck. And when I had to go up against women in tournaments, it was like, oh wow, this is so easy. So it actually comes at an advantage. And really, at the end of the day, if you love something, to just keep doing it. Don't let anything end up changing their mind or having them think otherwise. Because honestly, if I had listened to all the naysayers, I wouldn't be where I am. All the people that told me that I couldn't, and even actually, I tried to go out for the wrestling team when I was in grade. They told me I wasn't allowed to because I was a girl,
Mm,
and so I never went out for the wrestling team because of that. So years later, when I went to college, you can't just jump on a wrestling team at college. You know, you have to be recruited on because you have to have a wrestling background. So I ended up going the arts route, doing jiu-jitsu because it was the closest thing to wrestling. And then from that went to MMA and then got to wrestling, which led me to pro wrestling at WWE. So really at the end of the day, if you just love something, you put in work, you keep doing it, and in time it will come. But you have to put in the work.
absolutely. So you mentioned WWE, and how was that experience for you being in NXT?
It was very different, tough. There's been good experiences and there's been bad experiences. Then there's some stuff that's in the middle. I guess it comes with anything that you do. Anything that you do that is new to you, you're gonna have some ups and downs. But overall, I'm really glad I got to NXT and experience all of that. I learned a lot. And honestly, WWE was never a thing that I ever thought I would be able to do. In my mind, I thought the only way to get in is to be a Olympic wrestler or at least be a college wrestler that's won state championships. Because I never had any of that background, there's no chance for me. I would never ever get selected. But when I finally had the opportunity for the tryout, I trained super hard, got through the tryout, and got in. And that's when my life changed. Honestly, if it wasn't for WWE and NXT, I wouldn't even be able to be introduced to this world of pro wrestling and be introduced to this career now. Like, I do full time now, and it's been wonderful. Like, I've got to meet different people, the world. Like, it's been life. So overall, even though there's been a lot of stressful situations, it's been a great experience. And I'm really thankful I got the opportunity.
Well, You mentioned about seeing other people and stuff like that. We saw a video clip of you at the beginning wrestling Shayna Baszler. Did you get to know Shayna Baszler, or was it just wrestling, just straight up wrestling?
No, I really got to get to know her because we trained together at NXT. We got people, everyone there. We train together all the time. So everyone else is together every single day, and it's really nice. Getting to know her. She's actually really nice of a person. People might not think that because her heel character is so good,
Right.
and she like I would say like any MMA person, we're all kind of standoffish.
Hmm.
I mean, it takes a certain type of person to get into fighting and getting your face punched in. We all come from a certain background that kind of makes us a little bit more standoffish, and it might come off wrong, but if you get to know the person, she's actually really cool. She's actually really nice. I like her.
Yeah.
And it
You
was
also
really
met.
easy working her.
Okay. You Shotzi Blackheart. She's a new upcoming star. I noticed you had wrestle or partake in a wrestling match with her. How can you describe her? Because she's beginning to gain that momentum and popularity.
Did you say Shotzi?
Yes.
Oh yeah, she was really cool. I didn't get to wrestle her, but we were on the same team when we wrestled. So, she going. It was a fun match. She's flashy, daring. She's kind of crazy, but in a good way.
Oh.
She's crazy with her wrestling. Like she'll do some crazy stunts just to
Mhm.
get the crowd going. Some people got the balls to do so. I respect her for that.
Okay. Uh, so you said you've been watching wrestling since you were little. In your with your grandma, was there any person, your favorite male wrestler or female wrestler that you looked up to or anything like that?
Yeah, so my grandma, her favorite wrestler was Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
So by default, even though I didn't know what I was watching, by default, I really liked Hulk Hogan. He was just flashy, he got the crowd going, and I really liked him as a baby. So he was my favorite wrestler, but I also really noticed China just because she stood out so much, and it was just so unusual at that time to have a female wrestler, and for like her who is dominating, strong. Like people think of wrestlers, especially back then, as males, strong males, and to have someone so dominant like her, it really let girls have something to look up to. It really let them feel like, this isn't just a sport for guys. Because
Hmm.
honestly, I've been a tomboy since I was very little. I've always felt out of place. And to be able to see her like that really made me feel like that I wasn't alone.
Right.
So those would probably be my two favorite wrestlers growing up.
All right. When I was little, I was a Hulkamania fan myself. We ate our vitamins and everything else. So, um, yeah. So, out of all your matches that you had in your career, which is your best match?
You cut out on the last part. I'm
Okay.
assuming you asked out of all the matches I've had, what is my favorite one?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, my favorite match is not even viewable. I don't even have the tape of it, which
Well.
sucks. But it was when I went over to China for OWE, and I wrestled against this girl, Maserati. We were wrestling each other on the regular on the show because it was really only us two girls,
Mm-hmm.
but really had a storyline built up. And my favorite match with her was our last match because it really got to the point where it was just so emotional because I've been screwed over and screwed over, and with all her cheating and her boyfriend Nick, that would come in, Nick Bugatti would come in and help cheat. And it was just like I finally get to a, she was there before me at WWE. So I come in and it's like she's taking advantage of the fact that, you know, her boyfriend is helping her cheat. So I'm getting taken advantage of. She's cheating to win. And on top of that, she's taking advantage of me in a work level. Just making me look bad in front of the company and taking advantage of that, knowing that I was a new girl coming in that was going to take her spot. So we had a very emotional match where she was basically taking advantage of my knee, like messing my leg up, knowing that I had a prior injury with this knee back during my MMA days. And so taking advantage of that and then getting so close to almost winning just to be cheated again. And that match was so emotional to me that I legit cried. I cried during that match. And the fans that were there who saw, like, there were actually people in the crowd that all cried. And this is all on video, and it was all real emotion coming out because it just made me, it wasn't just a match, but it
Mm-hmm.
was something that really reflected my life. It was basically my life put into a match, getting screwed over and bullied and screwed over and bullied. And, you know, at that moment, the real emotion just came out. And it affected me, it affected the crowd. And it was just such a emotional match that I really wish that I had the tape to, that I'm still getting from them. I'm still trying to get from them. So I'm waiting for that footage. So hopefully one day I can show you guys.
Well, I will actually do some research myself to see if maybe they had uploaded on YouTube and stuff. We did. I did see some video clips when you were over there, but it wasn't. It was just maybe a samples and stuff. More of like a preview of what was going to happen. So hopefully it does come out, and we'll be interested to see it. And of course, I'll share with all the listeners and fans. Um, One last question before I let you go. Uh, what is your favorite move in the ring?
What move in the ring?
Yeah, what is your favorite move,
You cut out.
signature move, or the finishing move? What is your favorite?
Well, my favorite would naturally be my finisher, Bang. It really is a Northern Lights bomb, like the Al Snow snowplow. I was actually recommended to do that by one of my favorite coaches in NXT, Steve Carino. He's been awesome to me, and he's like always helped me a lot. And he actually recommended that move, and it's perfect. It matches me very well. It's a power move, and it's something that I've actually always kind of wanted to do in amateur wrestling and MMA, because in MMA there's actually this one move where you single leg, like, high crotch someone. You really put your arm like up crotch and you sing up and you dump them on their head. So it's a very brutal move
Hmm.
in freestyle Olympic wrestling. And I've always wanted to do that, but never got to. So
Oh,
now I get to kind of relive that in
oh,
my pro wrestling.
I'm already hurting right now just for you saying that. Oh, oh. um, I'm sorry. I have one more. One more. So last night we finished off our hashtag Mania Challenge 2020, and we had the final four, which is Shawn Michaels, Seth Rollins, and then The Undertaker and John Cena. Now this is all fantasy, but we're trying to, and we started with 64 superstars and legends. So when they're down to four, and then it was The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. If you were to decide which one would be the winner, who would you have chosen?
The overall winner, I would say Undertaker.
Okay. Fair enough.
Undertaker. He's Undertaker for a reason. You know, like, I love Shawn Michaels. He's great. But Undertaker, he's Undertaker. Like,
yeah, he's the demon.
how
Yeah.
could anyone?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We had a debate between him and John Cena in the semifinals, and knowing the success that John Cena had, but we, by narrow margin, we picked The Undertaker, and yeah, he did defeat Shawn Michaels and our stats. So it was pretty awesome. But I'm glad that you gave your input, and I'm sure my peers will gloat and let me have it. So it's all good. Hey, Zeda, thank you so much for being in our show. It is an honor and a privilege. But I mean, I hope that your family and everybody are still safe throughout this pandemic. And hopefully that on our side of the house, that soon we would go get back to normal. But I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much. I appreciate everything, and I hope you and your family safe, especially over there. So thank you so much for having me. It was a joy.
Do you have any last words? I'll let you have the floor. So if whatever message you want to get out there, it's all you. I'll still be back behind the scenes, so it's all you.
My messages to all my followers and everything. Thank you so much for your love and support, especially, during this time. It's been awesome seeing everyone. Like, it's been really cool. Honestly, pro wrestling fans, you guys are the best. And thank you so much for following my career, and safety to everyone. I hope everyone's safe during this crazy pandemic. But thanks so much for having me.
Be sure to visit hswshow.com, where you can find all the Clovercrest Media sports shows, including the Hard Hittin' Wrestling Show, All Four Downs, and Keys to the City. If you ever want to do a podcast, this is the place to do it. Starting at just $15 a month, you can get unlimited hosting and $50 for full service. Visit clovercrestmedia.com for more information.
A big thank you to the StreamYard for their fine streaming service. For Tyler Bard, Frank Cuesta, and Hector Vasquez, I am Ovi Muniz. Thank you for listening to the Hard Hittin' Wrestling Show.